They arrived there earlier today, and Mike Giardi was among those who were there. Hi, Mike.
Yeah, Lindsay, about 1,000 people here at Gillette Stadium waiting for the team buses to arrive. Of course, the team flew back late morning, early afternoon, got to TF Green Airport in Providence around 2:15, bussed over to Gillette Stadium, got here around 3:20 at Gillette. You can hear the crowd very excited to get a glimpse of their Super Bowl heroes. Jason McCourty given the Super Bowl trophy by Bill Belichick and running out there greeting the fans. Of course, he was 0-16 last year, and now in his 10th season, he is finally a Super Bowl champion. One guy who was not on that bus, defensive coordinator Brian Flores. Well, he's not the defensive coordinator anymore. He's the coach of the Miami Dolphins, but what a plan he and Bill Belichick put together. And just to add to your conversation, basically on every play, 2 defensive play calls sent into the huddle. And what they would do is they would wait for Sean McVay to get out of Jared Goff's ear. And if that first play call they didn't like, they'd switch to the second one. Many times, 2 or 3 seconds before the ball was snapped, Goff didn't know what he was seeing. And I think that's why you saw him holding, pumping, and not being decisive with throws, Lindsay. A terrific plan and a great way for Brian Flores to go out here in New England.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we talked about in the week leading up to this, that we'd seen on tape, that might be something that they might come out and try to do to confuse Jared Goff. Looks like they did that very successfully. Thank you very much, Mike. You mentioned that Brian Flores is not with the team. You know who else is not in Foxborough? Tom Brady and MVP Julian Edelman. That's because they went to Disney World today and had some fun at the new Star Wars exhibit.
Sith Lords.
I mean, look at them. What a bromance these two have.
That is a total bromance. Nighthawk and Dragon.
Right?
Step Brother style.
They're on the Toy Story ride.
Same glasses? Yeah, same glasses.
Come on.
That's cute.
There were a lot of fans that were there, too. I mean, that parade was packed with Patriots fans, which is sort of like the entire week looked in Atlanta.
They use those Jedi mind tricks, walk up to vendors. You will not charge me $75 for a soft drink. Now, let's stick with those Super Bowl champs. Patriots, former DC, as we heard from Mike Giardi, is Brian Flores, now the front man for the Dolphins. The announcement, of course, becoming official as Flores was introed earlier today as the 13th head coach of the Miami franchise. Now, Flores, before today, a New England lifer who began his career as a scouting assistant with the Pats back in 2004, and here he is on his new gig.
We're going to do everything possible to win games and build, you know, the culture and build a winner here. And I'll do everything in my power and work as hard as possible to make that happen.
Brian Flores, another 30-something with a head coaching gig, and we now bring in Rap Sheet here with more in when it comes to ripple effect. What's it going to be like with Flores making the move to the Dolphins as their new head coach?
Well, it's interesting. The Miami Dolphins already have their staff basically done. Chad O'Shea going to be the offensive coordinator. Patrick Graham, the defensive coordinator. But his old staff does have a huge hole in it now with their defensive play caller now really standing right there, posing with his family. So who is going to come in and run this defense? My understanding is Greg Schiano right now is the person who is the most likely candidate to come in and be the defensive play caller, potentially the defensive coordinator, though New England is always a little odd with titles, so he may not actually get that title. The expectation is that Schiano and Belichick, close friends, are going to talk early this week to finalize things and figure out which direction they're going.
All right, Ian, since we're talking about moves and ripple effects, how about Zach Taylor, former Rams quarterback coach, named the head coach of the Bengals. So what more can you tell us there?
As far as his staff goes, we know a couple things. Brian Callahan, a bright young star in this coaching world, former quarterbacks coach of the Raiders. He's going to be his offensive coordinator. Sounds like Darren Simmons, according to Tom Pelissero, staying on as the special teams coach. They need a defensive coordinator, and what teams like to do, pair a young head coach with a veteran. Jack Del Rio expected to come in and speak with Zach Taylor. That is going to be later in the week. Of course, the former Oakland Raiders head coach wants to get back in the league and has a very strong resume as a DC.
All those head coaching vacancies finally filled. Rap Sheet, as always, good stuff. Thank you, sir.
There are